What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today we are on the test server here, and we are going to be playtesting one of the new champions here coming with the Halloween patch from the Sylvan Watchers here. It's actually the epic champion, the Thorn Golem here. So Thorn Golem is a Void Affinity epic. It's coming in the Halloween patch, like I mentioned, and is going to be part of the Maria Halloween fusion. So basically, the Maria fusion is going to consist of 4 of these Thorn Golems fusing together to basically give you Maria, and we're going to have to collect fragments to build these Thorn Golems. Now, depending on where you are in your account, you may or may not want to get Maria, which means you may or may not end up with one of these Thorn Golems just by doing random events and collecting his fragments. Now, this video is going to show you guys a bit of play testing with the Thorn Golem so that you guys can evaluate whether he's going to be really good for your account or he's something that you can live without. Keep in mind that he is a Void Epic, so you're not going to see him too often here. He has pretty good base stats here. He's a defense-based champion. A little bit light on the HP, but decent defense for him. He looks aesthetically pretty cool. Obviously, some kind of guardian, guardian creature with swords wrapped around his arms and all that stuff. Let's go over his kit here real quick, just in case you guys are not familiar. His A1 is a double hit, giving you a 50% when fully booked leech. So 50% twice is 75% chance to land. So that's a pretty decent rate. Going to be very good against single target bosses, for example, like clan boss and all that stuff. Very good, especially if you're progressing through the game. His A2 is a 3-turn cooldown when fully booked. AoE, 100% chance of landing fear for 1 turn. Second hit gives you 100% chance of landing decreased accuracy. Decreased accuracy means that he is more likely to resist debuffs if he has a little bit of resistance on himself, making him, a little bit more sturdy in battle against waves and all that stuff. And bosses, of course. On a 3-turn cooldown, very solid ability here. A bit of CC and a bit of support for your team. And then his A3, 3-turn cooldown again, increased defense on your whole team. That's really good. And then counterattack and increased resistance on himself. Now, the increased defense is going to be really good for somewhere like Clan Boss, especially if you're progressing through the game. Increased defense is very important for Clan Boss. And then counterattack and increased resistance. Counterattack is going to give you a little bit of extra damage. It's also going to give you a consistent landing of the leech, which is really important against Clan Boss. Now, increased resistance isn't going to be a huge factor throughout most of the early game, but increased resistance paired with decreased accuracy means that even a champion with just a little bit of resistance in their build could be very resilient against enemy debuffs. So this could actually have quite a bit of value, especially paired with the decreased accuracy in his kit. Overall, I think his kit works pretty well. He's got the leech that's going to be constantly being landed with the counterattacks. Increased defense buffs himself. And then he has crowd control, and then decreased accuracy synergizes well with increased resistance. His passive, before he attacks with a skill that deals damage, heals himself. The value of the heal is proportionate to his defense. So we'll check out how good his heal is and see if it's actually enough to sustain himself. He does come with the ally in all battles 40 resistance bonus. That's not super, that's not super relevant, I guess, but it is a little bit of something. Let's check out some builds I got for him, and yeah, we'll take him into some content and see how well he performs. All right, so the obvious, kind of build for him, I think, is some kind of healing build so that he can kind of maximize his healing ability with his passive or healing potential to see how well he can do by himself. So we got him in a regen plus immortal set here. Basically, he has healing from 3 different areas, and he has healing from leech as well. So he's just going to be a healing tank. Now, the other idea for him would be something like a toxic set, allowing him to land poisons. Now, with a toxic set, he can land poisons against, for example, the normal ice golem or the dragon, for example, and then try to take them down that way. Obviously, any kind of toxic build will be decently good against bosses. But we'll have to see whether the Thorn Golem's healing passive is enough to keep him alive, because he might need the regen set to stay alive. So first of all, let's test his healing ability before we go further into what we think would work for him. All right, so we're going to jump into a Doom Tower wave here, and then we'll just see how much he can heal up. We'll check back on his base defense here. We're not going to apply increased defense or anything like that. We just want to see what kind of multipliers his heal is at. So we don't want to land Leech, because if we land Leech and we start hitting, then the heals will start spamming different kinds of numbers, so we're not going to get a clear answer. Let's do his A2. So we're going to attack with the A2, and then we're going to see the heal amount that comes off of him. Let's have a quick look. Healing for 2,273. So you can kind of see it's a small heal. You can kind of see it's a small heal, right? And then we can kind of go back and just check what his defense is. 4.5k. So he basically heals for, I would say, was it 0.5 x defense? So whatever his defense is, you slash it in half, and that's your heal. So he was healing for about 2.2k, and then we have 4.5k defense here. So let's say, for example, you had 5k defense on your Thorn Golem. That means his heal is going to be 2.5k heal. And of course, you can add increased defense to that, and you can get a slightly larger heal. But honestly, it feels like the heal is actually quite small. It's not a big heal by any means. So it's a very small heal, and it only occurs 2 out of 3 of his attacks because they have to do damage. So to trigger the heal. Now, depending on where your account is, 4.5k defense might actually be pretty hard to hit. So it's probably not worthwhile to go too crazy on the defense, because he's probably not going to be able to scale properly or scale super well with the amount of defense that you can add on. So I think for now, if you want him to be in a healing build, you probably need to give him a healing set. He doesn't have enough heal to sustain himself just from his passive. Now, with his Leech ability, will it be enough? Leech counterattack. Let's have a quick look here at what he can do. We're going to use this build here. It's a toxic build, so it doesn't rely on healing like from a set. It has a very small heal from the immortal set. Other than that, it's just going to rely on the passive ability here. Total stats here, just under 300k speed. Got a little bit of resistance and accuracy. We have no blessing and no relic as well. I went with this set of masteries here because the big thing about the Thorn Golem or any champion that requires Leech to heal is that you really should have War Master or Giant Slayer, so that you can take advantage of those big heals. I went for Life Drinker for additional healing as well. The rest of the offensive stats are not super important. He actually gains pretty good value from the support stat here, or support tree. Because then he lands debuffs, he lands buffs. Having both turn meters are good, and then he has buffs and debuffs. So extension of debuffs and then extension of buffs is very, very good. Another thing you could kind of mess around with is maybe do something like this: increase turn meter rate for each active debuff. He does land quite a bit of debuffs, especially with the toxic set. So something like this could work, but that means you're foregoing the healing ability from the War Master, which I don't think he can afford to do. And we're not running a relic, and we're not running any blessings. So obviously a blessing would be really nice. For him, I think you can definitely run something like Miracle Heal, and then run a Blood Shield accessory. So the thing with Miracle Heal is that whenever not Miracle Heal, sorry, my fault. Not Miracle Heal, but you would be running, where is that? Oh, here you go. Emergency Heal. So Emergency Heal gives you a shield whenever you deal damage. So he's constantly counterattacking, so he's constantly going to have a shield up. And whenever it breaks, you're going to get a bit of heal back. But then you do need a Blood Shield accessory. So I think he's a good candidate for that if you need more healing, or if you need to put him in a situation or a run with healing requirements. And then for the relic, obviously the elixir would be pretty nice because the elixir gives him a bit of additional healing as well. But let's see how far we can take this toxic build here. For example, I tested him a bit in the Iron Twins, and then I'll show you guys a little bit of what he can do here. It's actually quite impressive. Keep in mind that he's basically only healing from one immortal set, Leech. He has Life Drinker on, sure, and his passive. So he's actually holding his own pretty well. And with the toxic set, he can take him down, relatively quick. And this is, Iron Twins 15. The problem here is that after, a couple minutes of this, he goes down to the big retaliation hit. So it's a little bit unfortunate. I thought maybe we had something here that allowed him to maybe solo this boss. But I don't think it's possible. Just with the incoming damage from the retaliation hit is just way too much for him to recover from. You can kind of see here with the counterattacks and the leech being landed, he can kind of recover decently. But I wouldn't say he's like an insane recovery machine here. His health pool is also quite small because we were trying to stack defense, right? So I think if you go for a full healing build, like with regen set and stuff that scales off of HP, you should probably just focus on HP and trying to get your heal up based on HP instead of trying to get a heal up based on defense. So just view the defense healing part of his passive as kind of like a bonus, but not something that you can actually fully rely on. So you can kind of see here he went down to about 50% HP. Not too bad, especially for a solo epic. Now the next place where it's kind of obvious to put him in, it would be for Dragon. Since the Thorn Golem is kind of, he's a Void Affinity damage dealer or a Void Affinity champion, you can kind of put him in any stage where your gear can allow you to handle. So, I mean, all right, so the next obvious place you kind of take the Thorn Golem would be maybe somewhere like Dragon, where his poison set can actually do some, good work. So we're in stage 2 right now, just gonna try to go through the waves. This guy's actually pretty strong against waves because he does bring the AoE fears. He does have increased defense and the resistance, which allows him to basically, fight off debuffs and all that stuff. So, he has a bit of sturdiness, and the constant leeches and the heals, should allow him to survive even without a regen set. So he's just running a toxic set. And then, of course, his passive is pitching in with some additional healing as well. But his passive, like I said, is not super efficient in terms of stacking defense and then trying to get heals from his additional defense. So it's not super efficient. If you're in a situation, like I said, where you need heals, you're better off building for HP and then scaling off of HP instead with like a regen set, for example. So, but right now, he's holding his own. He's holding his own, right? We're on stage 2 only. We're just going to see if he's actually viable here. Now, for Dragon, there's actually quite a few, a couple of champions here that can kind of get the job done. For example, Priest Ornn is an epic that can get the job done, maybe in the low levels of Hard Dragon as well. He can do it with just a regen set and moderate stats as well. I mean, the stats on him right now are okay. They're definitely very good for a toxic build. Let's see how well it does. And I don't want to make you guys watch the whole thing, but just a little bit of a teaser here with the bit of the wave action. And yeah, we'll see you guys at the boss. All right, unfortunately, this level has these Eurogrims and these Cardinals. Extremely annoying wave. Obviously with cleansing, healing, and then we have the revive from Cardinal. So it's not a particularly fast wave encounter here. So we're gonna try to duck out and look for a better wave. All right, stage 3 looks doable. A bunch of Kales and Frozen Banshees, so pretty squishy waves. But yeah, it's taking us about 2 minutes to get here. Let's see how well the Thorn Golem stands up against the boss here. This is stage 3 on hard difficulty. Let's see how well he does. Landing the leech, that's huge. More poisons, that's huge. And then we got decreased accuracy as well, so maybe we can not get poisoned ourselves, and that's good. Counterattack's actually pretty important here so that we can constantly land the leech, which helps us with the healing. So far, looking okay. We're going to have to heal up here pretty quick so we don't die. We're at full health. With the leech applied, it's pretty good. Counterattack. Not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. Gotta speed it up with the poisons a little bit here. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Getting some extra value here from the 3-turn buffs. That's kind of nice. And of course, the 2-turn debuffs. Oh, getting a little bit low. Can we recover? We got leech. Multi-hitting. Can we recover? Looks like we're okay. A little bit dicey, but looks okay. Looks okay. Pretty good amount of small poisons being landed, and we're not able to get the job done. So a little bit disappointing here with 3 minutes and 16 seconds to get to the boss, and we got the boss down to about 3/4 of health. Now, the big thing here is if Thorn Golem had a blessing, that would be a big help. And if he had a relic, that would be a big help as well. For example, if he had the elixir, he would heal up when he drops below 50% HP. And then if he had a blessing, that would give him some additional stats. And if you took something like cruelty, you could reduce the defense on whatever you're fighting and speed everything up. Cruelty on him, I think, would be really good because yeah, he would be, softening up everything. Or the other one would be emergency heal with the blood shield accessory. All right, and just for fun, we're going to put him in the clan boss team and see how well he does. Like I said, he should do pretty well against the clan boss. He has a really good kit for it to counterattack the A1 leech and all that. I did run some presets here. I turned off his A2 against the clan boss because the A2 just doesn't bring too much value here against the clan boss with decreased accuracy. And we want more A1s from him just to make sure he can land the leech. Now, on this team, I wanted to highlight that we actually don't have too much healing on this team. We do have, obviously shields. We have plus defense from Freya, but then he is also running plus defense as well. And you can see here he's landing the leech properly, and then he is landing quite a bit of the small poisons, which is filling up the bar here a little bit, but that's totally fine. Yeah. And for him, like if you put him in a toxic set against the clan boss, he's definitely going to fill up the bar here pretty quickly. Lots of damage coming through. I remember I really liked watching the clan boss runs. I don't know why, but there's something just really fun about watching the clan boss runs. But yeah, make no mistake, he's a really, really good clan boss champion. We're gonna let this run for a couple minutes, and we'll shut it off and see how well he performs. Obviously, he's in a toxic set, so his damage will be a little bit disproportionate, especially if you're not running a toxic set. But he is running War Master, so he's going to pitch in a little bit of damage there. I don't know how long this team's going to run, actually. We do have Freya. I don't think it's going to run that long. It's probably going to run maybe like 35 turns. I got some half-decent stats on these guys, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We're doing pretty good. We're doing about 4 million a turn, so probably one key this without too much issue, to be honest. But yeah, we'll be back at the end of the run. All right, so I underestimated the amount of damage this team could do. It did 207 million damage, and it ran almost 50 turns. So pretty good survivability here. Thorn pitching in with 17 million. Most of that's going to come from his poisons. And I would say probably about 6 million or 7 million is probably from War Master, maybe 7 million from War Master, and then 10 million is from the small poisons. Ninja's doing most of the heavy work here, especially paired with Mikage. Freya's pitching in 11 million, probably from a little bit from just being crit capped, I think. She's not built for damage or anything. She's actually a speed booster. But yeah, she's probably just doing damage from being crit capped. And then Newt here pitching in the max HP hits for 40 million. So yeah, really good support here for the Demon Lord clan boss if you guys want to use him there. And another clan boss where he's actually going to be really, really good is actually Chimera. Against Chimera, he's actually has quite a decent kit to try to deal with a bunch of the trials if you guys wanted to do that. Now, I wouldn't say that he's going to be a top champion for this because I think it's just hard to incorporate a champion like him into it. He does bring fear, which is going to help against the Ram. Most people have Lydia for this kind of trial, or just the Ram head in general. He also brings Leech, which is really good too, because Leech is something that's missing from, for example, like Titus teams. Leech is right here. It's good against the Viper, so Leech will open up the rest of these trials, for example. He also brings counterattack, which can help as well. And he also brings increased defense, which can be useful as well, but not as useful in Titus teams because they always run with Wixwell, so you always have the increased defense. But he does bring increased defense as well, which can be useful to open up this lion form trial as well. So perhaps he gives you some options here against the Chimera if you need him to be there for you. Another place where he can actually be really good is actually in the faction wars. For Sylvan Watchers, there's not really too much CC champions. Like you have Creoldin here with the AoE freeze. But I mean, like for a really good CC champion, I just don't really see it, right? Even for the legendaries, there's not really too much. It's not really too much, right? Yeah, I don't see the CC champions. So for him with the 3-turn fear, it's actually quite nice. And obviously increased defense is quite nice as well. So he can definitely help you in like Sylvan Watcher faction wars, which would be pretty cool. Otherwise, I don't think his passive really gives him much of a chance for builds that, you know, can forego healing. So his passive's not good enough to just heal him up alone. It definitely needs to be paired up with another healing set. Just view his passive as a, supplementary heal. But the rest of his kit is actually solid. It's solid, but it's kind of, you can't really use him by himself, like for solo content, for example. You can definitely go through waves, like dragon waves and stuff, but to kill the dragon, you have to, you have to be pretty fast with the poison application, so he's not going to be very good there. And he doesn't have enough healing just from the passive to basically not run a regen set against the dragon. Maybe in normal difficulty, it's possible. He definitely works against the normal ice golem as well in this type of build. But I wouldn't say it's 100%, and I wouldn't say it's fast. It's definitely very slow for him to go through certain waves, and certain waves can actually kill him with like reflect damage and stuff like that. So you have to be really, really careful with what you pick in terms of what stage you want to bring him in if you want to attempt this type of like solo attempt. Someone like Mikey, who I showcased recently in a build similar like this, can handle a lot of the content a lot easier because Mikey's passive is just a bit stronger with the built-in shield. All right, so we've seen what a 0-star, 0 blessed Thorn can do. Let's see if we can juice him up and see if we can beat that dragon, at least get him to solo it. So at least he has some endgame use here. Let's see. All right, so we're going to take the same toxic build here, add a 5-star blessing to the Thorn Golem. This gives him a boost for accuracy and resistance and defense as well. We juiced him up to 6.7k defense, so that means his heal will now be 3.3k roughly. And then he still has enough stats to do basically hard dungeons. We gave him the golden elixir with a bit of a turn meter boost, octagon, not pentagon, sorry, gem. And then the bosses deal less damage to the wearer, so just to handle the dragon. So he's gonna get a heal here as well. And then we're gonna give him emergency heal. So we basically give him like everything he needs for a kind of like solo-ish build. And he's running a blood shield accessory here. This is the best I have, unfortunately. But yeah, we're gonna take him into hard dragon and see how well he can do. Let's just jump right into it. Let's go into hard. I think hard 7 is a bit better. I think hard 7. 6 has the Eurogrims, which is a pain in the butt. So we'll do this. Let's see how well he does. Everything should be a little bit faster now, I think. Everything should be a bit faster. Things should be pretty smooth. Let's see how well he can do it. Oh, there's healing in this one as well, so that kind of sucks. Oh man, the healing. Okay, so the healing is going to take maybe a little bit longer, but let's see how well he performs against the waves. Hopefully he can do okay. I think he's running about 55k HP with 6.6k, 6.7k defense now after all the blessings. About 280 speed. We did lose a little bit of speed here in favor of extra defense. Ugh, team cleanse from the Bad L. Really, really nasty there. Actually, are we on stage? Actually, I just want to double check here. Are we on stage 7? I thought stage 7 was magic. Oh, we're on stage 8. Let's try stage 7. Oh yes, this one's the easier one because the Taurus, look, the Taurus bring down their HP for us. So that makes things a little bit easier for us. All right, let's go. Come on. Emergency heal is pretty massive here because he attacks a lot. So he's constantly going to have a shield on him. And when it breaks, that means he's just going to get a flat heal out of it. So that's really nice. His base HP is not super high. It's not super high. So he's not getting a massive heal out of it. But he is pretty tanky, right? Like these waves don't have ignore defense. So the big defense definitely helps. And looks like we're doing okay. Yeah, we're like definitely no fear of dying here. No fear of dying at all. So all good. But yeah, we'll see how long it takes to get to the boss, and we'll see you there. All right, not so bad here. We're about 2 minutes, 30 seconds in, almost all the way there to the boss. Yeah, stage 7, waves seem reasonable. If this is a spot where you want to, try his solo build, let's see. The waves look manageable here, and we're at the boss. Let's see how well we do. Got the leech down. Got increased resistance, decreased accuracy, so we're not going to be receiving any of the poisons. We break the shield and we get a heal, which is super nice. And we also have the golden elixir as well. So once we get a hit past 50% HP, we'll get a heal back. As long as we don't die in one hit, we might be okay. Might be okay here. We're still running War Master, so we're pitching in some damage there. We're running the poison set. Can we get the job done here? Yep. Still okay. We still got the small shield, getting a bit of a heal back. Elixir back up to full health. Yeah, here it is. I think we're not killing him fast enough. I think that's going to be the problem. Because we're basically at full health, and he's going to one-shot us down from full health. Yeah, you can kind of see there. Almost dead. Yeah, I don't think we have enough damage here from the poison set. Can we get back up to full one more time? See if we can land enough poisons one time. Nope. And then we get into the one-shot range. So obviously, it's a speed race against the boss here. Stage 7 is going to be too much for this type of build. All right, we're trying the same build now back at the Iron Twins. Let's see if we can get a job done here with the extra healing bits added to his kit with the elixir, the emergency heal, and of course the extra stats. Can we get the job done here? Can we get through this retaliation hit? And we do at the full health. We can get it done. Let's see if we can get through here. Come on. Oh, and we do. I think the elixir definitely helps there because as soon as we start going below 50%, we get the big heal back. Ultimately, we couldn't get the job done. We still fall to the retaliation hit there at the end. So even against the Iron Twins with this elevated healing build, we are not able to get the job done. All right, so the last place where I wanted to check out with this type of build, again, to see if he's solo capable to keep up with the other solo capable epics, is Ice Golem. So Ice Golem here, we're on normal difficulty just because the poisons work on normal difficulty. The elixir is really, really helpful against those reflect damage mobs. They show up in the, I believe, the Spirit Affinity stages. We're on 24 here, which is a popular stage to farm in normal difficulty. And yeah, he handled the waves relatively okay. We're at 2 minutes and 45 roughly at the boss here. The counterattack's going to be able to help land the poisons. Unfortunately, running War Master does risk the Ice Golem big slam on him, so that's something to be a little bit worried about. But let's see if the Ice Golem can actually slam him dead. I'm curious. But yeah, let's see how long it takes to actually take him down. And this might be the only spot where he like fully completes a solo run with this build. Obviously, with the regen set, he'll just have tons and tons of healing, but he just won't be doing any damage. That's why I keep running with this toxic set, because with the regen set, even if he has the healing, he doesn't necessarily has the damage to make it a viable run. So in this case, he at least has some damage to kind of do a viable run, but even then it's still quite long. You can kind of see here we're approaching 4 minutes. And yeah, we're trying to kill the Ice Golem as quickly as possible. So far, no real threat of dying or anything like that. But, these are excessively long. Let's see if we can survive. Yes, we have no problem surviving. But yeah, these are excessively long. It might be viable for people still progressing and you just want to maximize value from your energy, for example. You're training food at the same time. Maybe you're at work or sleeping. And then you're just running these runs overnight. But yeah, we're looking at about 5 minutes here for a solo clear. Hopefully it completes without us dying. But it looks relatively safe at this time. I really like that he is Void Affinity. That means that his fears, won't get weak hit. He can, choose any stage. He can be helpful in any wave, for example. So I do like that he's Void Affinity. But I think he's missing something. He's missing something. There you go. And we are able. Oh, we actually die there. 123k hit. So he's not actually viable to even defeat the Ice Golem here. Oh man, that is definitely a little bit depressing here. So I'll show you guys the total stats here on my guy. My Thorn Golem, 54k HP, definitely on the low side. It's not particularly easy to stack this guy up. But like I said, if you have a full regen set on him, you should build HP instead of defense. Here I am trying to build him with defense so that we can get more out of his healing here. If we went the other way with this toxic build, so he has no healing in his kit other than, you know, his passive and an immortal set. If we went for full HP instead of defense, I think he goes down even faster because he would just have no healing to fill up his HP pool. But if you have a regen set and you went full HP instead of defense, I think you would do perfectly fine. But in which case, why would you even bother with this passive at all? And then you might as well just be showcasing any champion with, you know, any random kind of abilities, right? And then just slap a regen set on them and see how well they do in any content. So I just wanted to showcase how well this guy's passive can kind of keep him alive and all that, and whether he's actually viable for content. It doesn't seem like it is, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad champion. He has a great kit. He's going to be helpful in a lot of areas, especially if you're progressing. The fear is very good, like I said, for hard faction wars or even just regular faction wars. It can be really good. Not a lot of CC champions for Sylvan Watchers. And then increased defense, and then leech and counterattack is obviously very good for like beginner, clan boss, and all that. So it really depends where you are in your progress for your account. But I think he's a solid, decent epic. Not the insane epic that I was initially thinking he could be, mainly because of the size of the heal is actually quite small. Like I said, it's about 0.5 your defense. So whatever your defense is, have it, and then that's basically what you get for a heal. And then of course it increases based on like if you have increased defense and all that stuff. So anyways, that's going to be it for the showcase for the Thorn Golem. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think he's a decent epic, but definitely not a insane epic or anything like that. But he could be if your account is still progressing. So keep that in mind if you guys are going for the fusion. If you guys are not going for the fusion, might be worthwhile to hold on to one of these guys to help you guys through faction wars, for example. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the Thorn Golem. Are you guys going for the fusion? Are you guys planning to pick up a copy of this? 2 copies, for example. You can empower them as well, get more stats. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate your time, and I'll see you guys in the next video.